everybody, and welcome back or welcome to this little channel. It's Katja here, and I'm currently speaking about my learnings and perspectives and experiences with the zodiac archetypes. So today I wanted to elaborate on Libra, coming from the perspective of evolutionary astrology. So what this means, to recap quickly, is that in evolutionary astrology, we really see the human as a soul that chooses to incarnate in order to learn certain lessons. And what I really like about this type of astrology is that it can help us to see more clearly why things might be happening to us. And so we can make choices in how we respond to our experience and circumstances. Okay, so Libra. Libra, from the perspective of evolutionary soul, evolutionary astrology or perspective, is a sign that comes in, or that is here to learn to hold the paradox of life. And so this is what it's here to learn. What Libra can encounter in its journey of life is that it either becomes a people pleaser because it is also like drawn to create harmony, or that's like a pretty human thing, in fact. So this is actually where it gets interesting. So we are drawn to create harmony, right? But harmony actually can mean very different things depending on our subjective experience. And here it's interesting to mention that Adolf Hitler, for example, had quite a strong 7th house. The 7th house is also ruled by Libra. And he obviously was creating his sense or his perceived state of harmony, right? So this is one of the huge shadow aspects of the Libra archetype, is that it can either be a people pleaser in order to, kind of just feel comfortable enough and not having to deal with too much confrontation and keeping the peace, so to say. But in a very dark expression, Libra can actually also be very manipulative. And I do also want to say, for example, on the example with Adolf Hitler, we of course also look at other planetary constellations which represent internal energies and the internal makeup of the person. So in Adolf Hitler's case, there are other elements in the chart that show why he chose the path he chose. And of course, he could have also chosen another path. So again, with Libra, we are here to learn to hold the paradox and the polarities of life, to kind of balance the scales. And there are strategies that Libra can use in order to do that. And so there is in Libra inherent also this kind of draw to aesthetics. And Stephen Forrest, an astrologer whom I've studied material from, he also says that Libra is the part in us that learns to create an aesthetic response to trauma or to emotional turmoil or to shocking experiences. So this is more like the higher evolutionary road, and this is honestly what I'm also more prone to share or more interested in. So Libra can use art in order to harmonize. So obviously internally, if Libra people, if you have some signatures in your chart, but we all have Libra in us, right? So we can use that to harmonize the polarities and to find peace with the intensity of opposites that this world sometimes presents us with, or kind of constantly presents us with. So the people pleasing is actually a shadow expression of Libra. And this is where the polarity axis of Aries comes in for Libra in order to cultivate a healthy way of relating. So this is the other aspect. Libra is also here to find the balance in relationships, right? And how do we do that? We learn to kind of hold our own center and find our own center while still being exposed to different opinions, different perspectives, different kinds of humans. And so for Libra, in order to be able to hold this more firmly or more thoroughly and more wholly, it's helpful to orient on the opposing sign axis, which is Aries. And Aries is really in also its highest or higher expression. It's a very healthy warrior energy that's a very centered, strong, instinctual, intelligent being. So this is another important aspect. In order for Libra to really feel her way through life and also make the decisions that feel fulfilling, it's really helpful to tune into this instinctual awareness that comes from the Aries polarity point. Because another like tricky or shadow expression of Libra is this indecisiveness, this like not knowing which way to take, where to go, what to do, because they want to please everyone. Essentially, they want to maintain the harmony. And obviously we know that it's not possible to please everyone, at least in the short term, but maybe also in the long term. But this is where, this is one of the shadow expressions of Libra, that it can become really indecisive. And this is where it's really important to create this like inner, how one of my teachers, Zola, says, inner stuff of light, to really feel like, okay, this is what I'm here for. This is why I'm choosing this. And then Libra can actually go forth, bringing aesthetics and harmony into the world while being in its center. This is really important for Libra, to cultivate the strong center, not from a place of aggression, but just from a place of healthy, integrated anger. And through that, being a force of harmony in the world and of aesthetic expression. And also, like, diplomacy also comes to mind with Libra, because Libra obviously also brings this into relationships. So learning to see and perceive and feel and be with opposing opinions and perspectives, and seeing how can there be an equilibrium or harmony created, or peace, essentially. So this might be an interesting sign for the day times on Earth at the moment. What I've also noticed with the shadow aspect of Libra, some people I've encountered, is the indecisiveness and the always being there for everybody else, because on some level, obviously, that gives us something if we feel like we are needed, the need to feel needed. But what can come from that is like this, obviously, like not being in one's own center and always feeling like running after, oh, this is also what I wanted to do. And I also like basically just feeling completely overwhelmed, and not tending to one's artistic, creative side in the way that one feels they want to. I've seen this in some people. They are always there for everybody else, and then they say, oh yes, and I want to like give more time to my creative endeavors, and they might have like all kinds of artsy stuff lying around and are really good at it as well. There is like a natural artistic side in a more Libra prone person, but because they're so like in the shadow expression, kind of lost in trying to create harmony around themselves all the time, they're forgetting about the inside, and they're not creating in their through their immediate self, through which is art in a lot of cases. And so you can see Libra people who are always like, oh yes, I wanted to start drawing, or I wanted to start making this, and I never find the time. Well, this is where then the polarity axis of Aries comes in again. It's like, stop, I have to protect my space. I have to take care of myself and not constantly everybody else. This is the polarity axis of Aries and Libra. Aries is very much about the self and is here to learn a little bit more, like, you know, caring for others and like realizing that there are other humans on the planet as well that are here to be with and to be cared for. And Libra is here to learn to, okay, yes, there's all these other people and I want to like give to all of them and be there for all of them, and I want to bring harmony into the world, and I need to do it from a centered space. Because otherwise I'm just going to be like a leaf in the wind and not really doing anything. So yes, this is what I feel so far, I have to say, on my understanding of Libra from a soul evolutionary perspective. I'm curious if this is useful. I hope so. Again, I want to say that astrology, right? Like, we are looking at the whole chart, and somebody might only have a sun in Libra. So this does apply to some degree. But there are many other or few other planets in the chart and in other signs, and it always also depends in which aspect the planets are standing to each other. Somebody can be a Libra sun and not be very Libra at all, because there might be some other signatures that bring forth another archetype much more strongly. Or also depends on the phase of life that we're into and what planets are transiting and what planets are triggering certain other planets. So just be aware to not get overly identified with any of this, really, because at the end of the day, it's astrology is a perspective through which we can see and understand ourselves more deeply. But life is still to be lived as well. Okay, so thank you for your time. I wish you a good day and speak to you again through the camera soon.